This is Signal Soundbytes. I'm Brandon Peña, the managing editor of The Signal. And with me today are...
I'm Lindsay.
My name is Izuh.
Hi, I'm Trey.
I'm Jeremy.
And we're back with another episode of Signal Soundbytes. Trey keeps testing me on this new microphone that he brought us. Well, describe it to us, Trey. What is it?
So it's a microphone that a lot of YouTubers and podcasters use in the gaming world because it's made by Razer. Not a sponsored product for this podcast. We're not sponsored. I wish we were, because I could have gotten a discount on it, but instead I bought it with my own money, and it's what I use to make my podcasts that I make.
Interesting. And what kind of podcasts are these?
It's a fictional podcast that I've been recording with one of my friends for the last... We spent a year and a half writing, and we've now spent a year and a half recording and editing, and we're probably going to be launching at the end of the year with our first season. So.
Very nice.
Mm-hmm.
Very nice.
Look forward to it. Post-Poc Talk.
Wait, what?
Post-Poc Talk.
Wow.
It's like two radio journalists in the post-apocalypse, but it's every post-apocalypse. So yeah, it's pretty funny. It's wacky. It's good stuff.
Interesting stuff there.
Yeah.
All right. Well, lots happened in the last couple of weeks. Notably, that we are going to have a new president, and that person is Dr. Ira Blake.
Now, this is president of the university,
Clear Lake.
not the country.
No.
Okay.
We still have Trump.
Damn it.
Just to clarify, we're not getting a black lady as president of the country.
He's still there.
We're getting one for our university. It's still a step up.
It is.
It is.
Yes, she will be the fifth president and the first woman to ever lead UHCL.
What has it been up to this point?
Up to this point, it's been 4 men of the white persuasion.
Because you really got to persuade them. You really got to persuade them to get one. Let me tell you.
But yeah, there was 4 candidates, and they narrowed it down, and she was the one that they selected. So right now she is, currently is on the way out of leaving her current position as Senior Vice President and Provost for Academic Affairs at Bloomsburg University in Pennsylvania. Cool. So she's coming all the way down to Texas.
Dang.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. You really got to want to work here.
And why do you say that?
Well, I'm just saying the school's kind of going through a transformation right now. I mean, we're tearing up and reconstructing 80% of the property. And just in the last few years, we went from being an only graduate school now to a full undergraduate university. And yeah, we've been trying to figure out how to do that. And getting a new president, I mean, hey, let's just do everything new, right? Why not?
So what are y'all's thoughts on her? Have y'all? She did do an open forum, I think, in April. And Jeremy, you wrote the article on that. So what are your thoughts and perspectives since you wrote it?
I mean, I liked her because I think she really seemed like she cared about student success. One thing she said was important to her is helping students find jobs. And she also wants to connect more with alumni and get them to help students more too. So I think that's good.
Nice.
And kind of just to build on what Trey said, I mean, she's really coming in at a time that she can really make a difference and make her mark on the university. And in addition to what Trey said, I mean, she's also inheriting our budget deficit. So she could really turn this place around.
Yeah. No, I'm looking forward to it. I'm eager to see.
August 1st, when she'll officially take office and take over from President Staples, who has been the president for the last 22 years.
That's a minute.
That's quite a change.
Yeah. That's
The longest standing president.
Yeah.
it's a portion of my life.
I'm 24. That's the majority of my life.
That's the majority of my life.
That's the majority of my life.
That is most of my life. Dang.
Yeah.
You saw iPods become a thing.
Yeah.
That was very recent. You saw the internet become a thing.
I was going to say, I think I saw iPods become a thing.
Yeah, he was president when the internet was first introduced to UHCL.
Wow. That's amazing.
So what kind of changes or what kind of things do you hope that Dr. Blake kind of comes in here and starts working on? What kind of things do you hope to see her accomplish as president?
There's it feels like, and we've covered this in a couple of different ways, but there's kind of like a lack of communication between the school and its faculty and students. At the very least, it seems like there's a difficulty in communicating clearly, and sometimes it feels like not all the parties really get to be heard. You know what I mean? Yeah. So hopefully she does something to alleviate that. I don't know how that gets alleviated, but I've heard that it's pretty great when it is.
Yeah. What are your thoughts, Izuh?
I would want her to like be a president that you could approach, like just walking down the hallways, like with Dr. Staples. He would always be just like, "Hey, how are you?" to like every single person that walked by. So hopefully she's like very student oriented and just, you know.
Say, "Hi, Dr. Blake, how's it going?" Yeah. Be personable, I guess. Alright. Any other thoughts on this topic? It's a big change. Huge change.
What does the president do?
Glad you asked that question. According to the president, the position profile that they all read, the president will be reporting to the chancellor for the University of Houston system. The president is the chief executive officer for the university and is responsible for providing the leadership and vision necessary for setting strategic, operational, and financial directions. The position will require a president of considerable experience and skill, and basically they'll be working collaboratively with multiple constituencies from students and faculty.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So
I just really want to meet her, if we're being real.
yeah, that'd be neat.
I just want to meet her.
Yeah.
You can ask for her autograph.
I'm gonna take a selfie.
A signal selfie.
Signal selfie.
Well, wait. You're in SGA, right?
I'm gonna meet her.
Yeah.
at some
So you're
point.
more likely to
Yeah.
meet her than any of us.
I'm going to, but
Yeah.
I'm just like
they
anticipating.
But you would also.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you want to.
I figured that we would, so I was like, yeah.
Okay.
The real reasons.
That's why you really joined. Like, who's this? The new president.
I see.
So, yeah. Alright. I guess we'll move on from that.
Cool.
And talk about something that's also going on in Texas that could affect UHCL, which is the bathroom bill. Senate Bill 6, which is going to be presented again at the special session, which will be July 18th. During the regular session, they presented this bill that essentially would require transgender people from using bathrooms, having to use the restrooms according to the sex put on their birth certificate, as opposed to the gender they identify as. So this is something that's gonna, if passed, would go into effect September 1st, and could affect how we do things here at UHCL too. So what are your thoughts on that?
Haven't we learned anything from North Carolina?
Yeah, things didn't go too well for them when they tried to push this through, did it?
Yeah, the AP is put a price tag on the price of their bathroom bill, and it's about $3.76 billion in the next dozen or so years, which doesn't seem like a lot, but they go on to say that they don't account for a lot of projects that left because of the lack of like financial data. But I mean, one of the biggest things was PayPal backed out of a facility there, which not only all the jobs lost, it was expected to bring in $2.6 billion in economic, revenue for the state of North Carolina. And does Texas want to do that? I don't think so.
Can we afford it? I mean, economically, we're doing better than most, right? I want to say, I don't have the statistics on hand, but I want to say like we've weathered, the recessions, plural, better than other states. We We adapted to wind power pretty quickly as far as the state goes. So we make a good amount of money, but it would definitely... I feel like Texas has a certain face, a personality that the rest of the world looks at because we're one of those places that has a reputation around the world. It's like the United States is made up of Washington, D.C., New York, California, and Texas. And we could potentially probably lose some face value if we went through with this, at the very least, not to mention people pulling out projects and businesses pulling out sponsorships and the like. So, yeah.
Well, I think that we should call our resident bathroom bill expert, Crystal Sauceda. She is on staff and she's written quite a bit about the bathroom bill. So let's try to get her on the phone.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hey, Crystal. Welcome to Sigma
Hi.
Soundbytes. You're on with us live, and we're discussing right now. And right now, we're discussing the Texas bathroom bill. So, as our bathroom expert, we're hoping that you could, inform us a little bit more about this.
I mean, I didn't bring my notes, so.
Well, off the top of your head, what kind of things can you?
So weak.
In the new buildings, didn't you say that they were building certain bathrooms?
Yes, they are going to have a family bathroom, and they are going to have lactation rooms in the new buildings, but nothing has been said about the current buildings, what they're going to do for those bathrooms.
Okay, so if this bathroom bill does pass, at least UHCL will have, the safe bathroom.
Yeah.
Anybody
Okay.
uses.
I think we have a family bathroom somewhere in this building.
Yeah, I believe there is one.
I know we do.
But
Yeah, you just have to have the keys for it, right, or something?
I think it's
Yeah, I remember someone went looking for it and they got sent on a wild goose chase to 3 or 4 different offices who just
Yikes.
sent them around and around saying, oh, this person has the key, that person has the key.
Mm-hmm.
But beyond a legislative level, just in general, your personal opinions on this, is this the right thing to do? Is this something that, you think should be passed or not?
I mean, I think you should be able to pee where you're comfortable. So,
Yeah.
if you got to poo too, I mean, that's really an awkward thing to go through just in a regular bathroom setting. And, you would want to make sure that it's comfortable for all.
Yeah. What about you guys? Yeah.
I think that transgender people have been using the bathroom of their choice for a really long time. So why is this an issue now? That's my opinion.
And who even looks at people like that closely while they're in the bathroom? Just go in and do your business.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
A lot of this legislature seems to be written by men who spend a lot of time at urinals. Because, I don't know, that seems like the only opportunity you'd have to look over and see how the person next to you is choosing to go to the restroom. I don't know of too many old white men who peek over stall doors, but if I ever saw one, I think I'd have an appropriate response.
What would be your response?
Oh, I'd probably kick. I have very long legs, so if I'm sitting on the toilet in a stall, he's getting a heel up his nose.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of this, they say this legislation has been written to protect, women and children from sexual predators lurking in the bathroom. But again, I don't think that's really a
And also
problem.
the amount of how isolated those cases would be.
Yeah.
Not to mention the uptick in cases of people entering women's restrooms, following someone to make sure that it's actually a woman going into the restroom, thereby becoming, it's usually in the case it's a man entering a woman's restroom, to make sure that the woman who just entered the women's restroom is a woman, thereby becoming the man who enters the women's restroom with the intent to spy on people's genitalia and commit sexual assault. So really the bill is for themselves. They just can't control their own paranoia?
nap.
I agree with that.
What about you, Izuh?
I just think they like to find excuses to complain under the guise of we're trying to protect our family and children and women. And
I can't remember. These aren't my notes I wanted to bring. I left them at home. But I wrote down a quote. I don't remember who it was from. But they were comparing the bathrooms to like segregated bathrooms. And it's like building a separate bathroom for them to use is like separate but equal is not equal. So it's kind of the same thing in a way.
I mean, down to it is discrimination, I think, regardless. You're basically saying that people who are transgender, who identify as a sex that's not the one that they were born with, are less than and should be pushed to somewhere else because it makes you uncomfortable. You know, and I think that's the deeper issue that's not being fully, brought up.
And I think even if the bill passed, there's still natural-born men predators in men restrooms.
Yeah.
That doesn't do anything about that. Same thing for women too.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's been plenty of times when there's been a really long line for the women's restroom, so I just went to the guys' restroom. So like, would I get in trouble for that?
That's a good
Technically,
question.
I would.
That's an interesting question that you pose because, I mean, curiously, when we're on the subject of these bathroom bills and we're on the subject of sexual assault, we inevitably end up at the discussion of some people have a hard time calling it sexual assault when it's a woman assaulting a man because there's this conception that men just constantly want it 24/7, so a man can't really be raped or sexually assaulted. It can only happen from a man and nothing else. So I don't know if these gentlemen have considered who's actually getting assaulted and then who's writing the laws, but I don't know. It seems like a lot of fear and paranoia mongering, and all of it just stems from hating change mostly, and probably trying to cover up some bigger conspiracy, like
Yeah,
a secret
if you
movement.
really care about your kids' safety, why are you letting them go in the bathroom alone to begin with? Like,
Right.
go with your child.
Yeah.
progressiveness and open-mindedness. Said progressiveness. Yeah.
Oh no, not progressivism. God forbid. Yeah. So yeah.
That's going to be something that's looked further into starting July 18th when Texas goes into a special session. That was announced by Greg Abbott, Governor Greg Abbott, June 6th. So that's something to, I guess, look into. And which is, interesting. Right now it's Pride Month, so this entire month we're, looking and celebrating the, struggles and achievements that the LGBTQ plus community has gone through. And so something like this is really interesting that, even in 2017 we're
still having this
having these
discussion.
discussions and still having to say like, what, you can't use the bathroom because of this reason? That's,
Yeah.
But beyond that, let's talk about Wonder Woman and feminism. So, how many of you have seen the new Wonder Woman movie? I haven't seen it yet.
I haven't had the opportunity to see it actually. I've
I
not.
saw it.
I've seen it.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah. Okay. Have you seen it, Crystal?
No, I haven't seen it yet.
That's unfortunate.
I've heard nothing but great things.
Yeah, I've been
No,
hearing a lot of.
I've heard it's really good.
Yeah. So what are your thoughts, Jim? Because you wrote a review and you've seen the movie. What were your general consensus of it?
I mean, I think it was a good comeback movie for DC. And I think it does sort of push feminism, but I think it pushes it in a way where it's not like in your face. It's kind of just more as like pushing humanity, pushing doing the right thing. So that's what I thought about it.
What are your thoughts on that?
I liked it. What I liked was how the blocking and kind of staging of the scene, they would give her more like male stances and male actions, or I say male, but typically male.
Like aggressive and dominant, maybe.
Yeah, like the captain stance where she put her, leg up and her hand on her leg, and then some of the guys kind of like hunch over and give her googly eyes, but not in a overtly, but it's subtle.
Yeah.
But you can still notice it, and I thought that was cool.
That's interesting. I like that. She's the centerpiece of the movie. She's an authoritarian figure. She's a warrior, for crying out loud. So it would make sense that she would have those very dominant, I guess that would be the right word, dominant stances. Yeah. And men and women can be dominant. Like, I've seen some very aggressive women who are like way stronger than me and could easily beat the crap out of me, and I'm just like, yeah, no, you good.
Stop it.
Yes, Crystal definitely could beat the snot out of all of us.
She's trying out for the Booker T.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
For our audio listeners out there, Crystal is 6'7", grows a thicker beard than any of us, and just chugs Kraken like a champ. So watch out, man.
Yeah, that's why we had to call her in. So her presence is just very
She has too much muscle mass for the room. She can't fit through the door. It's
Break
intense.
down doors when I come in.
It's intense.
She breaks down doors in class ceilings too. But speaking about Wonder Woman, the main connection to it that's been like really talked about was the feminism movement connection to it. So, A, what is feminism, and B, how do you think it's connecting to that movement, and why is it, such a big deal now?
Well, there's what is it? There's like two types of feminism. There's the feminism that means men and women are equal, and then there's the feminism where men are terrible and need to be subjected and subdued and all that. And there's probably only like 6 people on the planet who actually believe that men need to be subdued and put down in the dirt, and then the rest of them are just like, no, everyone should just be treated equally.
So Crystal.
Yeah. Crystal's a she-man hater. Yeah. I was making fun of the phrase from Little Rascals. It was a He-Man Woman Haters Club. Yeah. That was 1993, guys. That was gender segregation in 1993. You know what they did at the end of that movie? They got along. There's an equal for everybody. There's always a little kid who puts his pencil up his nose, and he met a girl who puts a pencil up her nose. Equality. Feminism. What?
Yeah, and that really wraps it up. So.
Yeah.
Feminism is the advocacy of women's rights on the basis of equality of the sexes. And I think in Wonder Woman, there's a few scenes where she does things that, even kind of today, not a lot of women would do. There's one scene where there's a bunch of, I think, war generals talking, obviously older men, and someone that's a guy tells her to wait outside, and she just walks right in, and everybody's looking at her, and she knows everyone's looking at her, and she speaks right to the main guy and says, what you're doing is cowardly. So she kind of just walked right in and made her opinion heard in a room full of guys. So
yeah, it's surprising, like, when that happens in real life and you don't expect it to be an issue until someone makes it an issue, and then you're like, oh, I never realized my boss had such a problem with women speaking up and being assertive. And you watch how they react to that, and you're like, huh. I don't know, that's how it is for me. I assume everybody's a decent human being until they fuck up. Oh. Yeah. Until they mess up real bad.
I also heard she only got paid $300,000 for the movie.
Oh, I heard that was wrong.
Yeah, I heard that.
I heard that was...
Yeah, I think it was just rumor, but she actually got paid the same that that guy who played Superman, I don't know his name.
Oh, Henry Cavill.
That guy.
Bill.
Yeah.
That's not a fire alarm.
It's-
That's a telephone
That's a telephone.
that someone's not answering. Brandon.
I'm recording.
Clearly.
Take it, put it on voicemail.
They'll leave a message.
But one of the questions I did pose in our Monday meeting was, if you're not a feminist or you don't consider yourself a feminist in terms of like a man, then aren't you just sexist? Isn't that?
I say
And people were confused, like why I asked that. I was like, because I don't fully understand. Maybe I don't.
I would say yes, because if you don't consider, as a man, if you don't consider yourself a feminist, then you're not considering equality of the sexes. And that's in the definition of feminism. So if you stand for equality of the sexes, then yeah, you're a feminist, I think.
If you're not a feminist, does it make you a misogynist? Is it one
The
or the
important
other?
question.
Is this a strictly binary issue? Because, I mean, what if you're androgynous and you don't really feel inclined to be male or feminine in your gender or sexuality? I mean, we did just discuss gender-neutral restrooms. Is there a gender-neutral stance on equality? I'm just throwing out ideas here. I'm not saying that I...
Wouldn't that be
Advocate.
equality?
One would think, but I don't know. Are you a misogynist if you're not a feminist? Are you a feminist if you're not a misogynist? I mean, is it a binary issue?
Okay, so the definition of misogyny is dislike of, contempt for, or ingrained prejudice against women. So I wouldn't necessarily say that you're a misogynist,
If you don't,
but if you don't believe in equal rights for women,
but that's
then-
like kind of ingrained.
yeah, then
Yeah.
that's an ingrained prejudice. So then, yeah.
So there was this interesting question last semester in my professor Dr. Seisman's class, which was, the whole class was on tolerance in the Middle East, and this is long-standing tolerance in the Middle East. And it was an interesting question where, does tolerance, like, does tolerance lead to or relate to, like, is there intolerance and tolerance, or is there some in between? Can there be in between? So, I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
Do you think there could be?
Do I think there's an in between? Okay, so if there's a culture that speaks a language and the word tolerance does not translate into that language, are they capable of being tolerant? I'm asking.
I think, yeah,
Yes.
because you can still be, they can have words for the definition of tolerance.
Now, an interesting thing to wonder is, what if they have 16 different words for justice, but they don't have a word for tolerance or intolerance? Does that change their perception of what we would consider tolerant?
In my.
It might. So,
Yeah.
I don't know. I think there's more to, and this is just me talking for, kind of playing devil's advocate, but like, I
Yeah.
think there's more than just feminism and misogyny. I mean, I think there is, but
Yeah.
I don't
I
necessarily.
think there is too,
Yeah.
but I think in the simplest terms
Yeah.
of the
Yeah.
definition,
Yeah, I think there.
it's hard to establish that.
I just feel like either you're a feminist or you're unknowingly ignorant or you're willfully ignorant. Like, that's it.
Yeah.
I mean, are you a
Yeah,
feminist?
because
No, go on.
I think that people aren't willing to accept the new feminism definition, I guess, and they're stuck in that whole 70s we hate men kind of vibe, so they're not wanting to say they're feminism, but they aren't a feminist kind of thing. So I think there is just two, and it's either you think we're all equal or you think you're better.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that like they know the concept of feminism, but they won't say I'm a feminist because they just don't want to. They want to keep what they think is feminism like in their brain, so they just want to keep going off of what. Oh, they just hate all men.
And I think certain men, or kind of a lot of men, get turned off by, the word feminism because there are extreme feminists.
Yeah.
And there's extremes in any sort of thing. So there are feminists that are kind of think
the definition of feminism is equality of the sexes.
Yeah.
Which would make you a sexual equalist. I'm sure there's a better word for that. Probably just a humanist, like generally like humans. We've got this. We can treat each other with decency. But, no, it's interesting. And then with the Women's March that happened a little while ago, I say a little while ago, that was a minute ago. When was it?
In March?
Yeah.
March? Women's March? Okay. Wow, that would have been really...
No.
I wish I had realized that when we were covering it. That would have been great. March for women. No, there were some people who were arguing that you're not a real feminist, because now it becomes real or unreal. You're not a real feminist if you're not out there marching for feminism. Which kind of begs the question, like, it's sort of like the internet echo chamber thing. Everybody's trying to start a fight, but nobody will actually throw a punch. So, I don't know. It's tough, man. It's tough to be anything these days. So much pressure.
A lot of labels.
Yeah. I feel like I'm at Whole Foods, but for lifestyle choices. There's 16 labels to describe being a decent human being. Like...
There's 16 of them.
Yeah. I'm exaggerating the number,
gotcha.
but like...
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, decency has so many hats to wear at the same time, and it just bogs you down if you really start to think too deeply about it. Whereas when you're just like, am I being a dick right now? Yes. Okay. Well, there you go. I don't know. Maybe there's an in-the-moment side to it. Maybe there's an institutional side to it. I don't know. I just got Velociraptor deep in myself.
I have read that some feminists don't like the Wonder Woman movie, or don't think it's as feminist as people say it is, because she's still, in a kind of small outfit, and so I don't know.
Maybe she wants to wear something.
Exactly.
Let the fictional character choose for itself. God, comic books have sentience too. I don't know, man. I've heard it's a great movie. I mean, it had a female director, but a great movie is a great movie. And if we're talking about equality of the sexes, it comes down to is a great movie with a good story with good acting, right?
Yep.
I'm just really glad that the movie was good, because if it wasn't, they would have been like, oh, the first woman superhero movie was bad. And then I'm just glad that it wasn't problematic.
Yeah. And that's kind of not sad, but like the hard thing about it is that we have to have those kind of discussions, like because it is a female directed movie and everything and starred, that there's so much expectations for it. Like, we raise the bar for it.
Which is weird when you think of how many movies have been directed by women and starred and centered on female protagonists. And then, they're always like, oh, she's just being sexy. And it's like, no, she's being assertive, she's being aggressive, and you find it sexy. That doesn't necessarily mean that sex sells, it just means that quality sells. And it's been happening for a very long time.
That was very insightful.
I don't know. I mean, I'm a history major, and it's like nobody has hindsight until, it's too late. Like, this isn't the first female director, this isn't the first female lead. This might not even be the first female comic book movie, for all I know. I don't know. But
they did a Catwoman movie.
Yeah.
They did. Yeah. They did Catwoman. Halle Berry, strong black woman. Not that great of a movie, but still. One of the first comic book movies in post 9/11 world. I'll tell you that. Yeah. It could have been better. But still.
They went for it.
Yeah. They went for it, man.
They tried it.
And they made her black. That was awesome.
What year was that movie?
That was like 2004? 2003? Yeah, no, it was a minute ago.
I mean, even though it wasn't that great of a movie, I mean, you're still talking about it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's that.
Oh, you're still talking about it. No, that movie. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Everyone got all hyped because it was like, oh my god, they're pushing the bar. It's like, oh my god, a woman got on the bus by herself today. Oh. Like, come on. Come on. Give women a little bit more credit than that. I don't think... I mean, there's championing it, and then there's just like, okay, we get it. Yes, it's fantastic, but there have been plenty other fantastic things. You don't have to beat a dead horse. And I'm not saying it's bad that we're celebrating it. I'm just saying...
Yeah, it's like that No Doubt song, I'm just a girl. Like, I can't go driving at night because I'm a girl.
Oh, I'm just a girl. I'm a ska.
All right. Speaking of girls and this really awkward moment of silence, Crystal, why don't you give us your awkward moment of the week?
My hashtag awkward.
Yeah, and then we'll insert like a really cool like dun, dun, like a really
Like ba-da ba da 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 ba da da da. Awkward.
Already answered it.
We got this.
One take.
Okay, I'll start off kind of small with the awkwardness. My first story happened on campus. So yay, really goes with the hawkness of it. So it was a couple of years ago. I was in the student service building, and I worked at this other job. So I worked from 9 to 12, and then I had class from 1 to 4, and then I had class 4 to 7. So by the time I was done with the day, I was like just tired. I was coming down the stairs, and I was on the last step. I was so close to the door when this guy stopped me, and he said, "Hey, I like your hair." I was, "Oh, okay, thanks." And I tried to walk away, and he stopped me again, and he said, with the follow-up of that, "Hey, can you dunk?"
Wait, what?
Yeah.
You said,
Yeah.
can you dunk?
Is it in basketball?
Can you dunk?
Like,
Yes.
like, can you hold a basketball in your hands, transition to one hand, transition to fingertips, off the ground, ball in the air, still touching your fingertips, into the hoop?
I think that was a layup, but yeah, a dunk.
Well, I mean, you clearly know more about what this is than I am.
Which one's correct, Jeremy?
Actually, I think that was
History.
But yeah, that was.
That is.
I mean,
really
obviously,
weird.
I'm not 6'7". I am barely pushing 5'2" on my good days. So the whole transition of "I like your hair, can you dunk?" kind of really
What did
just
you
threw me off.
reply?
How do you reply?
I just looked at him. I said, "No."
I would have said on a 4-foot goal, maybe.
Nah.
Most definitely.
Right.
Those little baskets above trash cans.
And then
Yeah, I just said no, and he was like, "Okay, have a good night." Okay, bye. I just like ran out.
I'm trying to be that bold.
That's confidence
weird.
inspiring. You know, it really is.
do any of you just walk up to a random person and ask questions?
The most random thing that I've said is like, "Hey, I really like your shirt," and like I just really like the shirt, and then I walk away. Like, yeah.
I mean, my whole life is a series of awkward questions and comments, so nah, I'm good.
Like,
Yeah.
Just walk up.
And just to like confirm, that guy was Brandon. So.
That was Brandon.
What?
Oh,
Plot twist.
oh,
I mean, I didn't
Mr. Basketball Star over here.
Yes.
Mr. I Believe I Can Fly. Starring a movie with Looney
The
Tunes.
funny part about this is that I was talking to Jeremy and I didn't hear half of what you just said except for my name.
Mr. Space Jam.
I did like that movie.
Jam. Come on and jam.
That movie was great.
I believe I can fly.
Speaking of
I
basketball
wake up in the morning.
and sports, Jeremy, why don't you give us a sports talk update?
Well,
What's going on in the world of sports?
Tell us about that sport ball.
Yeah.
I'll stay on the subject of basketball. I'll tell you my own personal sports talk story that happened to me about 3 weeks ago. I got sort of a fight on the basketball court.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, snap!
I get pretty intense on the court, so.
Wow.
So I was playing. Me and my brother were playing basketball on Texas Avenue at a basketball court, and this guy was like talking trash to us the whole game and like saying a lot of degrading things that I can't really say on the radio.
But also,
I mean,
what
we
were
can.
they?
Brandon can
We'll
bleep
edit
it
it
out. I'll tag the
But,
time, and you can.
I mean, you get the idea. But
Yeah.
anyway, so I hit the game-winning shot, and he was guarding me, and he was like, "About time y'all won, y'all suck." And I said,
What?
"I said, man, go sit the f down, y'all lost." And he was like,
No, you didn't.
yeah, that's what I said. 'Cause
Yes,
I got
you
mad, like, I don't know. He just got, he really got under my skin, so that's what I said. And then he was like, what'd you just say to me? I was like, you heard me, hold this L. And he was like, stood there for like 5 seconds, and I was like, I didn't know what he was gonna do, and he just like came at me and put me in a chokehold, like right around my neck like that. And I was like,
Oh my gosh.
I was like struggling to get him off me. Eventually, I hit him in the head and got him off me, and then it kind of got broken up after that. But
That's crazy.
Dang.
Wait,
But wait, here,
wait.
like a couple seconds, I thought he was gonna choke me out. But
I do have a question. What's an L?
No, the more important question is like.
Yeah, but yeah.
L means like loss. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Get with the times, Trey.
I wish I was live reporting then.
Right?
Damn.
The most job you think about this is that like Jeremy's like so cool and chill, like just in person.
I know.
When he's like I got in a fight, like what? Oh shit.
You are the quietest, most laid back person in this entire office. That is shocking.
You're talking.
I don't think we can look at you the same.
What can I say?
I feel kind of nervous sitting next to you.
Was it a big guy? Was he like a really
Yeah,
big?
he was pretty big. I think he was on drugs. He was on some drugs.
Oh, you fought a druggie. You fought a dope
I mean, he's
fiend.
probably
That's
on
crazy.
drugs if he took just a game of basketball at a city court that
Yeah.
serious.
About time you won. Y'all
Who
suck.
takes drugs and then like, you know what I want to do? Let me go play a pickup game of basketball.
Actually, now that I think about it, a little
I've
bit,
seen him like a couple more times, like playing up there, but like I don't even know if he remembers me. So
Where was it?
it was at Texas Avenue. You know that court they have up there?
Is it like the big one?
Yeah, it's a pretty big court.
Okay.
I've been there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next
yeah.
week, you're live reporting. You're gonna go cover Jeremy.
No, that's a really nice park, actually. I like it.
Yeah.
It's a good place.
Jeremy with the uppercut.
Fighting off dope fiends.
No, that's crazy.
That's awesome.
Wow.
That's
I'm glad they took it L though.
Yeah.
I gotta hand out those L's.
Chris was at work just dying.
Crying and laughing. Why are you
Crystal,
laughing,
you're-
Crystal?
wait. You're at work, aren't you?
She's at both jobs.
Oh my gosh.
Do they
Maybe
know
she
you've
booked
been
it.
on the phone for like 20 minutes now?
Who?
It's actually been 35 minutes.
What should be
Yeah.
at
It's cool.
the front desk?
So wait, back to sports, like real,
Yeah. So
outside of your really cool sports story.
I just thought I would share that, but I mean, the Astros, they've kind of been in a slump lately, so.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, they lost to the
The what?
Which team?
Sox.
Oh,
The Sox?
True. Boston Red Sox.
Got it right.
Hey. Wow.
But also, I'm not happy. One of my friends from high school got drafted to the
Oh,
Astros.
was
So was
it Corey
it?
Jones?
It was Corey. I was like, what?
Yeah.
I was sure.
what a small world.
Did he ever try to choke you out on a basketball game?
He got
Dang.
pretty intense, though.
Ah.
Would you have fought him at being trash?
Nah, he would kill me.
Do they still allow steroids in baseball?
Nah, it's been illegal. Yeah.
They allowed?
Well, I mean, who is the
In the 90s.
yeah, the
Oh,
90s,
for real?
like those guys who looked like freaking monsters. They were
Everyone
like,
took them back then.
yeah, oh,
The
God.
Monstars.
Take it back to Space Jam! No, like, man, when baseball was on steroids, that was an event.
That was the best time, yeah.
That was when baseballs were exploding because of how hard they were hit by baseball bats. Like, that was an exciting time to watch baseball.
Yes.
It's pretty. It's still good now, but man, terrifying. Sorry, that's it. That's all I got. Just nostalgia for.
Did you see Dwight Howard get traded while talking about trading?
Yeah, he got traded. He was hosting like a Twitter and Q&A with fans about like NBA trades. He was like, "Oh, who do you think's gonna get traded?" Whatever. And like 5 minutes later, like you got traded to the. So, yeah.
Surprise!
Now, was that intentional?
Live stream just ends.
Oh no, that means his reaction was live streamed too. Oh, that's great. He might have been like, "Oh man." I don't know how trading works.
You don't know how trading works?
I have no idea.
How does trading work?
How does trading
Sports
work?
expert.
If one team has a player they want to trade to another team for another player, they just offer them. I mean, it's pretty simple. Yeah.
Do the players have any say in this?
Snack with someone.
Okay, but these snacks have like families and houses, right? Huh.
But, I mean, when they're getting paid that much, you know.
That's also true.
Yeah.
Plus, what was it? It was a joke on like Bob's Burgers, the baseball player who was like, "Well, you got your spring training wife, you got your fall season wife, you got your Florida wife, or when you're on vacation, you got your California wife. They always get into a fight with." And I'm like, I wonder if that's real.
You say that, and that's really funny. My uncle was a high school baseball coach, and one of his former players went to the Red Sox. And I'm not going to say who it was because they got caught having a whole separate family with kids on the other side of the country.
Wow.
Woo! I bet it's not going to be difficult for a room of journalists to figure who that was. But thanks for the tip.
I think what would be really cool to see is Jeremy playing basketball against Crystal, trying to dunk, and then Izuh recording it live.
That's
on
a good
Facebook.
idea. Let's make it happen.
And
I
that
think we should
guy,
do that.
that guy who
Crystal,
asked
you down?
Crystal, yeah.
I'm down.
You're down?
I want to see if I can do it too.
Let's make this a thing. Let's make this happen. Let's set
should-
this up.
We should do like
a signal
a pickup
Yeah.
game. Like, yeah.
at the basketball courts,
Oh
and Delta
my
courts.
God.
We'll see each other play.
Put them in a chokehold.
Oh, this would be
Sweep
amazing.
the leg.
Yeah.
Sweep the.
That's so crazy. Like, what?
We're gonna do this. We're gonna set this up. So yeah, we're gonna set this up, and this has been Signal Soundbytes. Also, we have something to promote, guys.
What?
Our Signal Social coming in
Oh, that's
July.
right.
Lizzie, tell us more about it.
So July 13th, it's a Thursday. We're going to meet up at Bubble Island. It's basically across the street from the campus. You get a 15% discount if you pay cash and show your student ID. So come on out, meet the editors, meet the reporters.
I have an idea.
Yeah, what's
I
up?
have an idea for the thing. We should record a podcast there. Yeah?
We should.
Yeah?
We'll consider it.
Right?
We'll get back to you.
As we're like playing checkers, like really like into it.
Well, no, I mean, that'd be kind of neat, because then if like anyone who's a fan of the Signal comes in, we can just have them come in and be like,
I don't think
you're also going to be on the internet. Wow. I mean, if nothing else, we'll just get
Does
you.
our ID have to be current?
I believe you have to have a.
They never check.
Okay.
As long as you have a picture of your face in UHCL.
Legally.
But legally,
Yeah.
I think it should be.
It has to be current.
Should be current.
Now that I've said that, they will.
Student services.
I don't see the people at Bubble Island checking, but I do know, like, if you look at on the website for the rewards,
Yeah.
it'll stay with like a current sticker.
I'm not sure if Bubble Island has carding at the top of their priority list.
Right.
I'm pretty sure it's make sure board game has all board pieces clean off couch. If they still have that couch. I don't remember. But
Yeah. Okay.
they carding at the door.
So yeah, come on out, have some bubble tea, and meet all of us.
And Crystal's gonna answer some phones.
Sweet.
What?
And Crystal's like, I'm not answering that.
What?
Nothing. Anyways, Crystal, do you have any final comments before we hang up with you and end this podcast?
Me?
You sound busy. Is everything all right there?
Oh my gosh. When you have 27 people
Yeah,
on
I
hold.
gotta go, guys.
Alright, bye, Crystal.
Bye.
Alright, guys, thank you for listening. Peace out. Yeah. Insert outro music. So we learned a lot today.
Yeah. We did.
Especially about Jeremy.